Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video of the day, Nate, player props. We're going to be jumping into 4 of those that we really like. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video and page, as we will be giving you a gift card opportunity here. Need to be liked and subscribed to be eligible to jump in the comments and give us that total of the prop we'll give you here in just a moment. As always, though, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area. Nate, let's jump into Tuesday night's player props.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the game that we broke down, the Blazers Nuggets, and talk about a guy who usually performs a lot better and wins for the Blazers. No surprise there. Jusuf Nurkic, because they're 8-1 at home and 1-7 on the road, that has meant home road splits. So he's getting 13.2 points and 12.7 rebounds at home versus 8.6 and 9.5 on the road. And he's putting up 12 and 12 in wins. So at just 23.5 points, rebounds, assists, nearly even money at DK. Love that. And since we can probably assume the Blazers are going to win tonight with Nikola Jokic questionable, along with several other guys already ruled out for Denver, a double-double in a win would get you plus 265 at FanDuel. Nurk has always tried to step up against his former team. He's still averaging 16.5 and 9.5 rebounds in his 11 meetings with Denver, despite posting a 4-6 dud at Denver, because that was a 30-point loss for the Blazers without Damian Lillard. Key there, because how does Nurkic get most of his points? Playing pick and roll with Dame. He's a great dive man. When he's engaged, when he's getting those passes on the dive, he's engaged on defense, engaged as a rebounder. And I think that tonight he will be engaged on both ends of the floor in what's a revenge game for the entire Blazers team, and particularly for him.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And it's one of those things where if Nikola Jokic does not play, as I'm not expecting him to, but even if he does play hobbled, if he's not in the game, you're talking about Nurk getting guarded by some combination of Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, JaMychal Green, nobody even close to 7 feet tall. So you'd have to feel pretty good about Nurk's offense tonight for sure.
Who he can just push out of the way.
Right. Nobody there is going to come close to his size or stature for sure. So, yeah, I feel really good about a double-double there, and easy 13 points as well. So moving on to the subject of our gift card opportunity here, Nate, we talk about Paul George in that Clippers-Mavs game. Before I even get into that, I am going to let you know the gift card opportunity that you do need to be subscribed to the video and page to be eligible to jump in the comments and give us is Paul George's points plus 3-pointers made tonight against those Mavs. Something that I'm eyeing is those 3-pointers made for sure. So, for instance, as an example, if he gets 30 points, makes 3 threes, that is a correct number of 33. So make sure you let us know what you think that will be tonight. I think it's a good bet to say that he'll get over his 3-point prop of 3.5 threes made tonight. So if he gets 4 3-pointers made, plus a win, actually, is what I'm looking at for this Clippers team against a Luka-less Mavs team tonight. 4 3-pointers made and a W for Paul George is plus 300 on your money there at FanDuel. Or you could talk about him just getting 26 points. Over 25.5 on FanDuel is also about even money, minus 108 there. So feel really good about either or both of those, to be honest. He's gotten at least 27 in 3 straight home games. And you look at his usage rate, which actually somehow continues to rise on the season. At home, it's 35%. In his last 5 overall, it's been 37% in terms of how often he has the ball in his hands and is making plays for the Clippers on offense. And it's specifically against Dallas. They've had some recent playoff matchups that have been really nice too, but even in last year, dating back to last year in the regular season, his last 2, 25.5 points per game on over 40 minutes a game, and another really nice usage rate of 33%, even hitting about 50% of his threes there, 8 for 16 from 3 over his last 2 against Dallas. So I just don't think it's a very good matchup for Dallas, obviously, in terms of really no one right now is a great matchup for Paul George, if we're being honest. But he's shooting it at a really nice clip right now. The Mavs 3-point defense is really, really bad. Bottom 5 in 3-point D, and on the road, they're actually even a little bit worse. So I think those threes going in for Paul George tonight feels really really good. And I do feel good about a Clippers win if you want to take that 4 3-pointers made plus the W for plus 300 on your money there.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much lock in a Clippers win if Luka misses again. He was practicing on Monday and I guess re-aggravated his knee/ankle issue. So that's why he's on the wrong side of questionable. Otherwise, would be expected to return tonight. If he does return, though, I think you feel even better about the points for Paul George, about the minutes. Like you said, 40.5 minutes per game, the last 2 against Dallas. If it's a closer game, if it's more of a shootout with a team that has met in the playoffs before, he's certainly going to be out there gunning. A game that's not expected to be close is Detroit at home against Miami, but the Heat, they can let up at times. And regardless, I mean, who else is going to be shooting for Detroit but Jeremy Grant, who has a team high 27% usage rate on the season, averaging a solid 20 points, 4.5 rebounds per game at home this season, and has found a way to step up against a solid Miami defense. He's got 25.5 points per game on 52, 41, 80 splits in 2 meetings with the Heat since joining the Pistons. And since he's joined the Pistons, it's pretty much been, you're the man, Jeremy. Take it to the rim. Miami, they tend to let up a little bit on the road, at least in terms of their defensive rating, which is average, and the rebounding rate, which is average on the road versus absolutely elite at home. So that's why I feel comfortable taking 23.5 points and rebounds for Mr. Grant.
Yeah, Phil, that's a great bet right there. Agreed. As you mentioned briefly, Miami is somewhat human on defense on the road, and specifically in terms of their defensive rating and even rebound rate, which, we've talked about how incredibly they started the season. Not quite the case now. And I do love Jeremy Grant as a good stats, bad team player. That's sort of what he told us he wanted when he left Denver for Detroit. It was clear that he wanted those big stats and sacrificing wins if it meant that he got to get his. So, I'll continue to follow Jeremy Grant around and his player props as well. Lastly, my guy, Jay Randall. Anytime that I can find some nice value with Julius for the Knicks, I'm going to go ahead and put some money on him because I watch their games and I know how bad everybody else is on offense right now. And so I would feel pretty good about him taking on a Lakers team that is, as we've mentioned, very, very bad on defense this year, especially without LeBron James, who they will not have tonight against the Knicks. So I'm looking at Randall's points, 21.5, or a double-double. And I do like that double-double tonight, specifically if Mitchell Robinson does not play. Make sure that you eye that and jump on Jay Randall if he does not, because that double-double or, his rebounds at 9.5 as well. So you can get 31 points and rebounds combined for him tonight. Still feel pretty good about that. I think he'll get, above 25 or so, to be honest. So I'm not worried about any of that right there. And it's a little bit of a, former team game for Jay Randall. 2nd overall pick by the Lakers and then just given away basically to the Pellies. And so, when he's played the Lakers 8 times in his career at this point since getting traded from them, 24 points, 8 boards, 4 assists in 8 games, as I mentioned, on pretty good splits, 48 from the field, 31 from 3, and then 82% from the line, where he is getting to that line about 7 times a game this year, which is really crucial for his points. And I think he'll be able to continue to get that, especially with AD either hobbled or not playing tonight, and potentially him, Jay Randall, as the main guy in the center for New York. Feeling really good about him against the Lake Show.
Yeah, we talked about this in the game video for this. If Anthony Davis is out because they're going to Indiana tomorrow night and maybe they need him, or maybe he plays a heavier load because they have LeBron back tomorrow night. In any case, that's the one thing I would worry about is AD being completely locked in and geared on trying to stop Randall. But if you're worried about that in terms of the points, then just, take the double-double, which is even money. Try to take the double-double in a win at plus 200 on FanDuel, because the Knicks probably are going to be able to pull this game out, given how the Lakers have looked on the road recently and how they've looked without LeBron James.
And how poorly they've shot it and how often Russell Westbrook turns it over. Yep, 100% there. So that is all the time that we have for today, y'all. Make sure you're liked and subscribed so you can jump in the comments and tell us how many points plus 3-pointers made Paul George will have tonight against the Mavericks. And until we see you next, happy betting.